DIY.
DIYers, welcome, man. I'm here with a special guest. Let me give you a round of applause. K Fresh is in the building. Highly requested. Highly requested. You wanna act up? Now the button don't want to work. There we go.
Nobody's gonna have to tell the truth when I'm the one to tell it.
Come on, you know that I was gonna wait because I figured that we gonna get to some truth in a minute.
Yeah.
But brother, I do appreciate your time, especially on a weekend. There's a lot of people that are looking forward to hearing from you. But first and foremost, thank you. And how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I cannot complain. I'm alive and well.
Yeah. So rare opportunity to talk to this brother. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of things that we want to ask him, specifically dealing with this whole messy situation with Timbaland SUNO and the AI generated music that came from his source of music. But before we get to that, I want to make sure that you guys understand the legend that this is, man. I got so many folks that I highly respect that have been hitting me up. First of all, shocked that this particular situation happened to you, but also just showering you with so much respect. For those who don't know, K Fresh Music, also known as Kuddie Fresh, is a respected producer who's worked with heavyweights in the industry. From his early work with these collaborators to his viral beat showcases on TikTok and Instagram, K Fresh has built a powerful presence in both the traditional and digital music spaces. This week, he was unfortunately pulled into a viral controversy when Timbaland used one of his beats without permission or clearance in an AI music demo powered by SUNO. In this exclusive interview, K Fresh breaks his silence on the situation, Timbaland's response, which I have loaded up here, and what this may mean for producers moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, K Fresh Music. How you doing, sir?
Make me sound important.
Because you are, man. We here talking to you because, brother, like, and it's crazy because, not to be too long-winded, but I've seen your videos so many times pop up on my timeline, and I ain't never seen you pop up with a beat that I was like, yeah. Every single time it's just been like, yo, what is the timing? What is the crisp on the snare? Like, it's just you produce it in AK over there. You know what I mean? So but with that said, in your own words, because I know there's some specific placements that you have had, and also just some specific things that could only come from you. Can you kind of tell the people who Kuddie Fresh, K Fresh Music is, in your own words?
Yep. Kuddie Fresh, known as K Fresh Music on the internet. Born in Seattle, Washington. Grew up in between Seattle and San Diego. Got my start in music in church, playing drums in the church. My mom was a singer in the church. We lived with my grandma, and we lived in one of those houses where if you was in the house, you had to go to church. You know what I mean? But also, equally on the opposite side, I grew up in between San Diego and Seattle. So just like my lifestyle was very much entrenched in like hip hop and the things that was going around in my household, and when my mom would backslide and her boyfriends and everything like that. So I grew up wanting to be a rapper, and my first thing was I was rapping. Then I started producing, just kind of being musically inclined from playing drums in church. Got my first opportunity through Henny the Business, who's also from my hometown. So Henny the Business gave me my first opportunity to get placements. I moved to Atlanta, stayed in Atlanta for about 6 years. From the beginning, I did some stuff with rapper Big Pooh, did some stuff with Chris Brown, T-Pain. There's a joint with Killer Mike that I did with the business. There's a joint with Boosie, Mr. Fab. There's a few more I'm forgetting, but like that was the industry days, and then just kind of learning my lesson through the music industry and how that thing works, and not handling your business or playing the background and people not looking out, but also just having to learn how to look out for myself. I got jaded and I stopped dealing with the music industry. I moved back home to Seattle. I started working in a nonprofit, created a music program, and just really wanted to plant my feet and get some stability in my life. And then you know, fast forward to 2020, I started putting music on the internet. And that probably was like the most successful in terms of financial and just, you know, me taking responsibility of my own career. And so I think that's what I'm mostly known for is, you know, what I've been doing over the last, you know, I would say 3 to 4 years on the internet.
I'm listening to you, and I feel like I'm listening to myself have a conversation because I've said the same exact words about the industry. You know, I think a lot of people have their perception when you say things like, I was jaded by the industry. And then people automatically say, well, it's only because you didn't find the success that you were looking for, or did it, but they don't understand how much of a toll it could take on people. They don't understand a lot of the odd politics that are involved in these spaces. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that? Because I'm glad that you were able to find your success, like you said, in 2020 in the online space. I myself, you know, if it wasn't for selling beats and licensing beats, you know, that was the foundation behind even this YouTube because it generated income. Could you kind of talk about what led to that jaded kind of disposition that you in?
I mean, so if we go back a little bit before my experience with Henny the Business, I was doing music here in Seattle. I was selling beats. Pretty much I was the guy that was selling beats to the D-Boys, to be honest. Like, that's how I was making my money. And then, you know, cats that had local record companies out here in Seattle, I was selling beats to them. And my beats started to land in places. Like, I had one joint that landed with Jaded, a joint that landed with Jim Jones, a joint that landed with Crooked Eye. And all of those cases, other people were giving credit for my music because I wasn't the one who I didn't give them that music. You know, they knew this one person and that person didn't look out. They, you know, I produced this, or, you know, we don't know who produced it. So we're just going to say the person that gave us the beat is the one who produced it, you know? So that was the beginning of it, like getting into situations where people weren't really looking out for me. And then my experience with the business, I joined them kind of in a co-production standpoint, but I put a lot of work into that and really wasn't receiving the notoriety. And I want to make sure that I'm clear that like they didn't do anything shady to me. It was just, you know, the opportunity that was given to me was kind of like, you come in as a work for hire, you're a ghost producer. You know what I mean? I'm not the one getting the credit. I'm not the person that people know. They know the business. They don't know who Kuddie Fresh is. And you know, quite frankly, you know, when you get older and you have responsibility to your family, to your kids, all of this time you sacrificing away from your family, and monetarily it doesn't add up to all of that time that you've spent away. I won't even make it general. I had to make a decision to be like, yo, you got to put your feet on the ground, because it's cute that you worked with these people and you're in the studio with these people, and you know, I'm going to parties, I'm showing up to BET Awards, and you know, doing all of these things that it looks good, but what is it doing for me and my family? And so, like I said, I had to plant my feet, and I had to go back to work, which ultimately is kind of embarrassing when you think, you know, you really gonna make it in this music business. And also, just quite frankly, was a disappointment to me to have to, you know, look my family in the face and be like, I didn't make it and I got to go back to work. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it started in terms of like feeling jaded about the music business.
And, you know, and it's one thing if that happens for a producer that his friends are afraid to tell him, like, you just ain't got it. But you Kuddie, bro. Like you, and we hear the sounds coming out your speakers. And like I said, every beat that it don't matter where you go on his Instagram. I got his Instagram sitting here in the description. It don't matter which one you land on. I think that's gonna be a great business card to what he does, or an introduction. Your production, man, the drums. It doesn't surprise me you have a history in drums. The drums are crisp, right? The swing is natural. You know, do you play the keys as well, or do you are you more sample based?
I play by ear, so I have that thing where like I can hear it and I can, you know, basically pick it out until I find the chord. So I play in that way, but I've never been classically trained on none of it.
So my point with that is, you even sounding as amazing as you do, still had to make that decision, right? Myself, after having placements, I had to make that decision. Like, damn, I mean, nobody's gonna come here and pay my bills. At the end of the day, I got my name on it, and I'm looking at a family that needs me to provide for it. So, or for them, I should say. So this is why I think the internet presents such a beautiful opportunity, especially if you're able to gain traction. Can you kind of talk about where you were able to gain your traction first when you did make that transition in 2020?
Yeah. I mean, I went to college for media communications and technology, and I ended up dropping out, trying to be a rapper, trying to do
Mhm.
music. So I was already learning coding, and like early MySpace days, I was putting music on the internet, and I didn't really have no traction then, but it was just always something that I knew was a way to get my music out there. Again, me being an introvert personality, I didn't want to show up to a lot of places, and I felt like that was a way to get my music out there. Fast forward to COVID happening, when the city shut down. So going back to like where I landed as far as my job, I started working with a nonprofit. I had a music program that I founded here in
Mhm.
Seattle, and when uh, everything shut down, we couldn't go into the schools. We was going into the schools and teaching kids how to make music. When everything shut down, I got laid off and we lost our funding for my program. And so I just doubled down on what I had already been doing. I wasn't really taking it too serious. I probably was stuck at 1,000 followers. I wasn't really selling. I had a BeatStars. Um, and I definitely came from that era. Like beat licensing is crazy. I'm not selling my beats for
Right.
fast price, you know what I'm saying? But I doubled down on all of that during the time that COVID had everything shut down. And I think what really helped me was when Reels first started and everybody was mad about Reels, I doubled down on Reels. And so I was seeing a lot of traction on my videos because I was using the new feature that Instagram had. So I think I was hitting people's explore pages and my account was growing fast,
Mm.
which I think helped my business. And then, just trial and error, bro. For real, I didn't really have any like don't nobody tell us how to do it. And I don't really think that there's an exact recipe. I don't think nobody can get on here and tell you exactly what to do and you duplicate it and get the same result. I think it was just continuing to believe in the fact that I love this music that much. I'm not ever gonna not create music, and I'm not ever gonna not put my music out there. It's just like, how do you take responsibility for yourself? And I just kept pushing, bro. And it's worked out enough for me to finally be like, yo, financially, I've never seen this much money doing the other thing. So I'm gonna just keep doubling down on my own thing and keep believing in myself and hopefully inspire others. And in the meantime, like continue to feed what I would say the creative economy, the producer economy, by
Yeah.
being an example.
And I think you've been a stellar example. As you go down the YouTube, as you go down any particular piece of content that you have, you're presenting value, even if you're not necessarily doing any kind of talking head videos. They see you get to it, right? They're seeing you be a practitioner that is performing at the highest level in what you do. Uh, can you kind of talk a little bit about maybe the success you saw on TikTok as well doing duets? Because it's kind of ushers us into the main topic that we have going on here.
Kind of the same thing, man. I got in early when everybody was like TikTok is for kids. The first time I seen somebody do a duet, I was like, yo, this could be something. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I just started putting the music up and making sure that people could duet it. And my account grew to 100,000 when it was still easy to see that happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like again, just get in early, bro. Like if you see something, you gotta, take a risk and see. I didn't know that TikTok was gonna blow up like that. And I didn't know that Reels was gonna stick around because at the time it was like you guys are biting off of TikTok.
TikTok,
So,
right.
but at the end of the day, it's just like I took a risk on trying to just get to something first, get to it early.
Mhm. I mean, well, it paid off, and you know, it's crazy because at one point in time I was doing TikTok duets. If you don't know what that is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's basically where you as a producer will post a video, uh, working on a beat, and then you allow the option for people on TikTok to kind of be side by side, screen on top of screen, or however they want to style it. They can basically duet with your video, and it'll show up on the feed of, you know, related videos to that particular source video, which, you know, it somehow landed in front of Timbaland. You you ready to get into these questions about this? Because you know, I know a lot of folks definitely are looking forward to that. I guess the best way to kind of introduce it. Are you familiar with the young lady who did the duet with the actual music? Because I see her everywhere.
Yeah. So that wasn't the first one that she did. I think that's just the one that is most popular. But me and
Mm,
C Red had a few of them do well before that one.
okay. Yeah. Well, I definitely want to bring this up. Let me actually pull this video up. So, before the recording of this, or before the live of this, ladies and gentlemen, Kuddie had not seen this particular video, and even, you know, there was shout out to Sarah. Sarah was the one. Sarah Too Ill was the one that put it on my radar. But there's a video that goes even beyond the breakdown that we did. It goes beyond even the videos that you see on my social media where I'm covering it, and it's unfortunate seeing it play out this way, but what you're getting ready to see is Timbaland basically not only showing off the AI website Suno that we've been talking about, but it's also him uh, showing off what he calls his AI that he's training, Baby Tim, or whatever the case may be. Let me pull this video up because I definitely want to get your thoughts on this. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here it goes, right here. All right, here it is. All right, so let's go ahead and play this video, and let's get back to some of your thoughts. This is Kuddie Fresh's music being used in the actual video, and this is on Timbaland's TikTok still.
My eyes on it, but check it out.
I don't write verses for fun. We've been out working for crumbs. Till the seeds we plant ain't and pay my fees on my first of the month. Those who try to make believe that I don't deserve it is dumb. Just give me a beat that got some space to put words to the drums. Just give me the peace to find my place of encouragement, son. I know everybody got some pain that no Percocets numb. Ask me for some tips, I know my work, just prefer to step one. Gotta love yourself, that lets the birds are tough for deception. Hard for me to rest when success I prefer to get done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. What's your first reaction when you're seeing this video starting to circulate around?
Well, I didn't see it when it was circulating.
Oh, the shortened version, I should say, right? There's a shorter version that I believe that you posted on your Instagram as well.
Yeah, the homie Kaylin sent that to me. I wasn't even aware. Yeah, Kaylin texted me one night and was like, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "Nah." And at the moment, I like for real, I'm still having a time processing it. Like, something I told my lady, I was like, yo, like 19-year-old me is like, I can't believe this. Like,
Right.
it's Timbaland. He's one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? So there's a level of excitement that I wanted to have from my music to even reach somebody like that. But then there's also a bit of frustration as a grown man, because it's like you just saying my name could have went a long way for me. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, it's upsetting to continue to be in these situations where I don't feel like I want to say it's the right thing to do, but I think there's a little sense of integrity that like you could have just, if you liked it that much, a little bit goes a long way for somebody like me. Like my feet is still on the ground, bro. Like I'm working for everything and I'm not asking for much, but just that could have been enough. You know what I mean? So I'm conflicted with the things that I feel about it. You know what I mean?
You know, I mean, and for those who are not understanding, you know, this whole process was done without Kuddie being tagged, without, you know, being, you know, now his face is on the video as you're seeing Timbaland doing his reaction, and you're seeing C-Red rapping. What I didn't even know until I found that video, until actually Sarah posted that video, is that it wasn't just your music that was getting utilized. But also your tag too, right? Is that your tag that's in the background?
Yep. I think people know that more than they know the music.
Wow. So your tag is in there. Obviously, elements directly from that, what I assume is directly from that TikTok duo, but also the vocals from C-Red. I don't know what conversations he may or may not have had with C-Red. He did mention C-Red's name, but you're talking about now uploading to Suno plus whatever prompt that he wanted to make sure he kept private. He adds that, and then this is the final production. Although it is not a monetized situation, there is ethics. You talk about having a history in technology and having a history in coding, and you know, I'm sure you've been already kind of privy to a lot of this stuff happening. You know, there's just a general good ethics to have as you're operating this and you're using somebody else's music. What are kind of your viewpoints on that particular thing?
Well, I think that's the thing is somebody sent me a quote, man. The brother and I don't want to butcher this, but he was like music without discipline equals chaos. And that struck a chord with me because it's like, again, we're talking about one of the most influential producers out there. I think that when we talk about ethics, it's like, why doesn't it start at the top like that? For somebody who's already achieved so much success, you don't need anything from somebody like me. You know what I mean? And a little bit of just integrity again, or a little bit of just shouting me out, or reaching out and just being like, I like this, you know, how can, like I said, I'm not asking for nothing really, bro. Like what I'm doing, I'm happy with my life, you know what I mean? And I ain't never been given nothing. And I don't really like to get into this story of like I came from nothing or nothing like that, but I worked very hard for everything that I got, you know what I mean? And a little bit goes a long way for somebody that big, you know what I mean? So I think it goes back to that. Like, I don't even know that there's anything monetary coming from this.
Right.
And, you know, there's still conversations I got to have with my team and with my lawyer. But, you know, just my own understanding of it, like, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's still like I'm still processing it.
I get it. And I know this is like really like this is like we literally had just had our first conversation the other day, and then we want to make, because the thing that I have a goal of, and I know that you have your goal as well, and I want to make sure that we're aligned on this, is to one, keep the conversation fresh. I have a video here where Timbaland already kind of gives his version of a response, because this thing started taking off as all of us were posting content, because, you know, producer to producer, we don't have to know each other to have a level of camaraderie, because we understand what this process is like. We understand the challenge that it takes to even learn all the music, but we enjoy it, right? Regardless of what the CEO of Suno, I don't know if you saw that video where he said he believes Suno was solving the problem of music not being an enjoyable experience because it takes too long. That's a video that I'll either have to pull up today or share with you. But here's another issue that I thought was really interesting is that Suno also. So once again, Timbaland sees this video. I'm assuming sees this video on TikTok. He's reacting to it with C-Red duoing with a beat from K Fresh. Takes the audio, and with a premium account on Suno, you're allowed to upload audio as long as you click on their terms of service. Their terms of service says before you can upload this audio, I must certify that I own or exclusively control all rights in any content I will upload using this Suno feature. I understand that I am not allowed to upload content if I do not own or exclusively control the rights to it. And that if I do, so it is in spite of this prohibition. I will, among other problems, be breaching a contract with Suno, and I may be subject to various other forms of legal liability as well. By clicking this box, I acknowledge and agree to the foregoing.
Who enforces that consequence?
Suno. That's what you have to. That's what Timbaland would have to click on as a general button. Here, I can actually pull this up on my screen. I'm reading this because shout out to Farnell Newton. He put this here on Instagram, and I didn't even think about this point until he said it. But you literally are not supposed to even go through the process until you click this button. I'm gonna share the screen right now so you can see what I'm seeing. Here we go, right here. Share screen. And we'll just share this from right now. So we'll go. There's which one is it? No, it's not that one. We can go here. Yeah, there it goes. Right here is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the terms you have to agree to in order to begin the uploading process. And this is Suno that's supposed to be enforcing this. This is your ambassador. This is your ambassador who's doing this he's doing this in a public forum for other people to emulate, because there's a lot of people that look up to him.
Right.
Without crediting anybody in that. I mean, he did say C-Red's name. This is already problematic. But wait till we get to the response. So it's one thing for the elements to be there, because I think a lot of people had questions about, if you didn't mind asking or answering, I should say, was there a sample in that original beat that you created?
No samples.
That's all original.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and do this real quick.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna.
That's a huge one. That's a huge one, because, you got some producers who are blinded by their fandom of them, and they don't want to even think of a world where this is possible. And they're like, well, if you use a sample that's a royalty free, anybody could use it. This man just said he created this all original.
Yeah.
Wow.
I use Reason. So the sounds that you hear, those are Reason stock sounds. And then me just messing around with, I think there's some guitar rig on the bass guitar from Reason that gives you the guitar sound. And I think there's some patches from Arcade where I'm using that as the stabs in the beat.
Right.
But that's not even in the part that he played.
The beat didn't need a remix. I'm gonna go ahead and say that for the audience. The beat was.
Oh man,
y'all good? Yeah.
Amber Alert.
Oh boy, I was gonna say, it's a lot going on in this world right now. I know outside of this, but man, it's
sorry, bro.
You all good. You all good. You all good. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button on the way in here. Definitely do appreciate everyone who's in here, especially all the producer community. Although I don't make predominantly producer content anymore, y'all are always in my thoughts, and I want to make sure that I use my platform to amplify these things that are just not being done in the most ethical way, in my opinion. So my next question is, have you ever used Suno AI or experimented with the AI tools yourself?
No, I used what is it, Udio?
Udio. Okay, that's the other one. Yeah.
I used it when it first came out, see what it was about. The music I was getting from it was trash. I never went back.
Yeah. He said, that's all you gotta know. What I don't want to sit here and educate it, but what were some of the things that you were hearing that you could immediately identify that this is not up to par?
I think first of all, I just have to think about my own creative process. Prompting, I think, is a big part of using AI. And so I don't think I was invested enough to even try to figure out how to come up with the greatest prompts to get what I wanted out of it. The way I was thinking about using it was being able to create samples from it and then chop those up. And the way that I do things is, even if I'm using a sample, if I'm using Arcade, if I'm using anything, if I'm using Splice, I'm really trying to mangle that. I'm trying to make it to where you don't know that's where it came from. You know what I mean? And
that's traditional sampling. That's how we do.
And so as it relates to the AI, it's like, it's just a drawn out process for me to be trying to type things in and figure that out, get something back that I even enjoy, and then use it. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, just the few times that I was curious enough to really try it, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted fast enough. And like, I really like to simplify my process. When I'm creating music, I really just like to let the creative come in the room and go. And so, you know, kind of going into why people are like, why do you still use Reason? It's trash. It's simple for me. I don't have to think much about it. I know it by muscle memory. I've been using it that long. I can go in and I can do sound design really fast, you know, and that's just the way that I've always liked my process, is to just get everything else out the way. And that AI thing, just, it wasn't it for me.
Yeah, what you said earlier about leaving room for the process reminds me. Quincy Jones once said, he said, if you can, leave a window open in the studio. And then person asked why, and he said, leave a little room for God to make his way in the room, and you know, allow the process to be the process. And I think there's some things, there's nuance, there's things that are so special about this process that it seems a lot of folks in this tech field are not understanding. And so in their haste to try to replace people, I don't think they understand that some of these things are irreplaceable. Some of these things are messy in nature. They're time consuming in nature, but we chose this to be our problems. We have no problem with these being our problems. You know, it's unfortunate, but did you see his reaction when some of these videos started going viral?
No.
All right. Well, I'm pulling up a lot of stuff for the first time, unfortunately. But someone brought it up on one of the live streams, I guess, that he was having during the process. And this is what he said in response to when the video started going viral. Shout out to Overlord, who posted this on their Instagram page. But here's his response.
Chat is bringing up somebody in the beat. Excuse me, somebody's bringing up something in the chat about a beat. Somebody named K Fresh Beats, which is dope. He's super dope. Let's pull it up, because we was doing our, you know, this is our first time hearing about it. This whole thing is about transparency. And like, you know, we looked up the post, and I had to show it to Tim chat just to let him know like what it was. But you had mixed his like sample with like another artist vocalist. Like, it was two posts that you saw on Instagram and you merged them into one.
Yeah, it was like doing a remake the same way.
It was an edit.
It was an edit the same way.
So now we call it a remix and an edit. I'm gonna finish this out, but I for sure gotta get your views on this as we get back through this.
We took Krishan Rock.
Yeah, the same thing with
Krishan Rock, showing the power of a tool and how powerful it is, how it can flip songs and do remixes. Now hold on, check this out.
Talk about
that same post.
No, actually, we do need to stop there, because he starts to kind of go in a different direction, and I want to I want to ask you questions about that. What is your initial reaction to hearing him say, no, I didn't take your music without your permission? That was merely me doing an edit or a remix.
I mean, it's simple. Again, like, you couldn't reach out. Clearly, you liked it enough to do that. You couldn't reach out and just.
It takes 2 seconds.
If you're making content from it, why couldn't you tag me in it?
Right.
And then I seen another video where he was like, you know, why do I need to take anybody's music? And I think they even asked him at some point when he was on with Guru, and he was like, no, I'm not taking nobody's music and feeding it into the AI. Like, I don't need to do that. I got my own. So it's like, then why wasn't you using your own music?
You know, what's funny about that? What's funny about that part of the interview is that two things. One, he said he doesn't do any training because he doesn't own the company. but he never said the company doesn't do any training.
That's a fact.
They're currently trying to find some kind of settlement with these major labels or major record companies because they admitted, after lying to the public many a times, they admitted that they were training their AI off of unlicensed music, like copywritten music. They finally admitted that in court, and they're trying. Their defense was fair use, and they basically made a statement where they said that they were sourcing things that were on the open internet. Not going past any passwords or paywalls, but if it was on the open internet, including Instagram and TikTok, and I think my theory, allegedly, is also from those live streams where he's critiquing beats. That's the places you source. The initial video he made talking about how, why the AI animal video, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but the AI animal video where he's like, why? The guy's like, why do I need to sample from you? You don't even have your stuff mixed. A producer hit me up, Kuddie, someone who's worked with him. He will remain unnamed. He said on those hard drive include a lot of in-studio musicians who contributed to those beats. The question is, yes, it is yours because it's in your hard drive to a certain degree. What happens to them? Do they get any income that's being generated, any royalties off of that? How do they know what's being used? How do they even, you know what it's like firsthand. Sometimes you forget when you're doing collaborations in a big environment. You may recognize your drums, but maybe you did do a bass line. Maybe you did do, it just gets really, really tricky unless somebody has the information to back it up.
Right.
So that's part. Go ahead.
I haven't done enough research on AI and the legalities of it, and
right.
Even did the people who made Suno, are they music people or are they tech people?
The CEO who made that weird ass statement, apparently it's in his bio that he's I guess to a certain degree an average musician. So I guess he's dabbled in music, which would explain his oh my god, his
the guitar?
That brain dead. I'm gonna show you that video after this one. His brain dead thing where he just says he feels like Suno was the solution to music not being an enjoyable experience. It takes too long to learn how to play an instrument. All the things that we came up like, which is what you do.
And that's why I asked, because I just can't imagine anybody who loves music the way that I do, the way that I feel you do, and the people that I know love music ever say something like that, because even the challenges that come with making music are welcomed for me personally.
Yeah, these are the things we signed up for. This is no matter what you do, there's going to be problems. You just hope that you have chosen high quality problems for you, right?
Right.
But that's the way that's what they're selling people on. Here's a second part of this video that I wanted to get your reaction to, because it was kind of odd to see him kind of pivot in this video and start talking about a completely different situation. Shout out to Overlord once again for catching this.
If he's listening, guess who called for that beat? Ghostface Killah, because of that post. So I'm trying to call him today and say, yo, man, you need to send that beat to Ghostface. What? I don't get enough of that. But that post said, yo, God, can you send me that beat? That ain't my beat.
I don't know about you, brother, but I get PTSD from the music industry that I chose to stay away from when I hear that. He said he reached out to you about a possible placement that was going to happen because of him taking your music without permission. Like, what are we talking about? That has to do with a Ghostface Killah. Is that something that you were aware of?
No. For one, where did he reach out to me? My DMs are in shambles right now, so I haven't even got through all of them. But I think another interesting fact is it's this simple. I'll say two things. It's this simple. You could have told Ghostface who made the beat, and ironically, Ghostface has my number.
Really?
Ghostface knows who I am. Ghostface has my number. I've already sent beats to Ghostface, namely my other beat that went viral on Instagram, Game Time. So Ghostface follows me.
Right.
I've posted that beat a number of times, so much that people are like, why do you keep posting your same beats? So if Ghostface wanted that beat, he could have reached out to me directly. And even then, you could have been like, K Fresh made that beat, hit him up.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really that simple.
And it doesn't surprise me, because once again, your credits speak for themselves. Your work speaks for itself. It is of a tier. And I think sometimes maybe younger producers forget everybody influential, anybody not influential got the same internet. Everybody using the same Instagram. There's no special Instagram where it's perfectly curated for a celebrity. No, they get no special treatment unless they're, I guess, partners of an Instagram. They see the same thing that we see. So with Ghostface already having a relationship with you, you already having access to it. It would have been easy to access you and get that directly. But this is the problematic nature of going rogue and using not only your music, but the lyrics that C Red wrote, and just funneling this into Suno. And who knows what's happening on the back end, where what if there's a database, a brain that is being taught from all of these different uploads to add to its own ecosystem, so it becomes smarter. And in essence, like that's the goal. It's for it to get better so that they have a better product to sell.
Right.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Like, cause I saw that response, and my immediate reaction to it was kind of what I'm hearing you echo, which is that's what happens in the traditional music industry, is that you'll have a situation that it just smells funny, but it's somebody that you may look up to. And then the moment that they think that you're on to them, they dangle a carrot in front of you and say, hey man, you could have worked with Ghostface Killah if you wasn't worried about this nonsense, where I'm not even monetizing it, which I would challenge myself, right? If you're talking to your team, I would challenge it, because if you have a financial relationship with Suno, if you're a partner like that, which we're assuming, there's financial incentive for you to show this product in its best light. Well, now you're using tools the same way that you can't just use any B-roll for a commercial. Like, you have to get the license from that in order to do that. This process, you just cannot maneuver it like this. And especially when you're the ambassador, it's setting the wrong example for a lot of people out here. Outrageous. Man, do you feel like this incident is part of a larger issue with how AI companies like Suno and maybe even Udio are sourcing music?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I asked the question, are these music people, or are they tech people? Because at the end of the day, are these people making these products with musicians or producers in mind? Is this really to our benefit? I don't think it's to our demise. I think it's dramatic to be like, AI is going to replace producers. I don't know, not a human being or a computer who can duplicate what I do verbatim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I stand on that confidently, humbly. Not even saying that in a cocky way, but just not to even get like churchy about it. But I know I got a gift that can't be duplicated. And I don't think any of us have anything to worry about in that sense. But as we still struggle to maintain any sense of ownership of our intellectual property, and just get something as simple as credit, this search for money or whatever it is that they're doing that comes from tech companies, record companies, and ultimately people who don't even have love for the music, that's where it gets dangerous. That's where my frustration comes from it.
Same. I want to share this video, Richie, real quick, to give those who are not understanding a little bit of insight into the CEO of Suno, because I saw people in the comments who were like, you just got to understand how it works. A lot of people are nervous about it, but once you see how it works, you can see how people can abuse it. But if you have it, forget all of that. Whenever I see a product, I really want to know the ethics of the person that created it, because it'll help me to understand the future of where it's going to be. Let me share this with you real quick. So here is the CEO, Mikey Showman, and the video that I've been referencing over the last few minutes of him talking about why he feels like Suno solves a problem of music not being enjoyable to make now.
Why do they all look like that?
This don't look like somebody that know how to maneuver their way around reason or an NPC. I'll tell you that right now. Here, snare. What do you mean snare? This is what I'm talking about. Like, look at bro's posture, and you gonna tell he don't know what swing is. I'm gonna let you hear this. Let me peep this out.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
I'm sorry, I paused it too early, huh? Let me go back again.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
Why did you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Do you not think that's like running? It is hard to run. It is painful to run. You don't particularly enjoy it, but you love running and you get good at it and you get better at it and you speak to the runners and they love running.
Most people drop out of that pursuit because it was hard. I think that the people that you know that run, this is a highly biased selection of the population that fell in love with it.
Including him. He for sure is not part of that population that fell in love with running.
Yo, nobody ends up being great by not having to endure countless hours of challenge and nothing. And literally, I don't care if you cooking, running, making music. What are you talking about?
That's the pursuit of life. Are we redefining what our journey is supposed to be here? Like, no matter what time period you're in, there needs to be resistance to build muscle, to build progress, to evolve. You have to go through some obstacles in order to come out a better version of yourself on the other side. So to hear somebody who he himself could not be sitting in that chair as a CEO unless he has done some kind of work, I assume, tell that to an audience, and he's not even going to just the musicians or aspiring musicians. He's also going to people that want to work out. Oh, stop all that running. You don't enjoy that. Let's just figure out how to get a better Ozempic. Like, what are we talking about right now?
It's not always going to be enjoyable.
It's not supposed to be. Can you kind of speak on that part of it for those who are maybe they're getting started in it and they're seeing this world that is trying, in my opinion, to make them very soft around the edges when it comes to your journey?
Oh, that's a slippery slope, bro. There's already too much accessibility, and I hate to sound like the old head, but I come from a different era. My first setup was an MPC 2000 XL and some keyboards stacked. I had an XP50 and a Roland Phantom, and I had to MIDI them together. And I had to figure it all out because I didn't know how to route things, and I didn't read the manual, and I had to go through all kinds of challenges. I didn't use a DAW for so long because I didn't know how to make beats on computers. You know what I mean? I had spent so much time on an MPC. I didn't know how to make beats on computers. When I moved to Atlanta and I got my opportunity, I had to learn how to make beats on Reason because a homie gave me a cracked version. I'm starting from the beginning. That was hard. Every time I've tried to level up in anything music, I had to work hard. I had to learn something different. I also come from an era where you wasn't getting nobody's samples. Wasn't nobody giving you their sounds.
They wouldn't even tell you what drum pack they got it from. You ain't getting the DVD. You're not getting none of that.
Shout out to Vitamin D. Vitamin D showed me how to sample, how to get samples.
Right.
You know what I mean? And nobody ever gave me no sounds. So to be able to get on a computer now, you guys got a lot of access, but I challenge you to never feel like it's supposed to be easy.
Yeah, I truly feel like that is why we choose the things that ultimately we fall in love with. Relationships are challenging. That's an understatement, but we're choosing the partner that we say, you know what, your quality of problems, my quality of problems, I think are compatible. We can figure this out no matter what that situation may be.
Absolutely.
I'm also looking at this and saying the journey that you went through, and it's funny because mine's is different. I couldn't afford the actual equipment, so I went the route that first generation that got a PlayStation or had a PlayStation and got an MTV Music Generator. But even then, I went to Fry's and I found like, okay, do you have like an RCA connector that I go to my PC so I can get a cleaner signal on my music? But even before that, I was recording it straight off the Zenith TV, turning it up to 30, you know, and doing. But by any means, that is what built your character. That prepares you for these studio sessions where most people would crumble, but you've been through it all. You've seen it. Now you're talking about a generation. Not one last thing. When they talk about a generation of producers who may be in shambles if there's no internet connection in the studio they're in, if they're relying upon Suno and UDO, if there's no internet connection, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off in the middle of that.
No. I was just gonna say, I think what we're talking about is the difference between people who love the music and are in it for the, I wouldn't say the right reasons, but we went through all of that because we loved it that much. I've had similar situations, making beats with my system plugged into a boombox. It sounds horrible, but I just love it that much. You know what I mean? Any piece of equipment we could get our hands on because we love it that much. What do I have to do so that I can live out my creative ideas? And I don't think most people love it anymore. And if you are in a situation where it's not fun and you don't want to do it because it's not fun, this ain't really for you.
Move on like we did. Like for me, I found out skateboarding wasn't for me real early. I busted my ass. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna bust my ass, maybe I'm gonna play basketball doing this. I'm not gonna do this on a skateboard.
I don't want it that much.
It's not for me. I'm not supposed to be the next Tony Hawk, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you even from that situation, you're learning from failure. But if somebody puts you in such a protective existence that you don't even have to worry about failure and they're selling you a product, that is not to your benefit. That is to your demise. And I know so much of this is a zoomed out point of view of participation trophies and participation awards and society and where things are at. But as a producer, man, this process, as a lot of folks in here are saying, is sacred. And the things that are pain points, that's why a lot of us are doing it. Cause it's like, I don't see a beat that I have a beat block on and say, oh, I hate this whole thing. I say, okay, this is a puzzle that I got to solve. Okay. What is it that I'm missing? You know what? Let's try to spread this kick in the snare a little bit. Let's get the hi-hats off of the grid a little bit more. Let's really get this swinging in a different way. You know what? Maybe it's the actual size of the snare. Maybe it's the type of 808 or kick. These are the things that we want to go through and decide because we genuinely love this process. Let me ask you this, you know, are you exploring any kind of like legal action at this point, or are you still kind of weighing your options with your team?
I'm not going to talk about that too much.
Okay.
Okay. We're talking.
Okay. Well, you already know.
I don't know what can happen, and I don't want to speak too much on it. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna respect your wishes. I'm gonna leave it alone. I do want to ask, are you, because this is such a big part of your business. I think you talked about you have a sample pack coming here soon, and you have, you know, a community that definitely wants to stay engaged with you. Is there a part of you that's a bit hesitant to even put your music out? I mean, this has always, I guess, been a liability, putting our music in the public and people taking it. But does this particular situation kind of make you hesitant at all about uploading some of these videos that you do? They look really good, by the way, too.
Thank you. Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I'm frustrated in the moment, but I'm not about to let it derail me. Nah. If anything, it just kind of makes me want to pour more into what I want to do. What I want to do is honor how many people stood up for me, and really take this moment to be more visible to those people. You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest, like, I didn't know that so many people even seen what I was doing or cared about what I was doing. And, you know, again, I'm an introvert, and just, you know, getting in my own head about my own process, my own music. I don't put a lot out there. So if anything, it makes me want to do more for those people who want to see what it is that I'm doing. They want to know about the process. They want to hear my voice. They want to connect with me. I want to make sure I show up for them. So no, I'm not. I'm about to double down.
Yeah, and we got your back, man. Whatever you need us to amplify, please don't hesitate. I hope this is an opportunity to build a bridge with you and I. Not even because I'm trying to get some beats. I'm gonna go straight to your page and I'll buy them if I need to get some beats. But my thing is more so making sure that we keep the producers in the forefront, in the front that are doing this at a high level. Because I think some people are so AI drunk right now, and I get it. This thing is moving fast. It's supremely intelligent. It's convenient on a lot of levels. Chat GPT can be very convenient as an assistant to what I'm doing, not a replacement, but it still has its issues. And you need to see the folks out here front and center who have dedicated their lives to it, because it's going to always be different. Even if you can't identify the nuance, it's going to feel different when you know that a human is behind it. You know, you did mention the producers out there that maybe don't have a platform as large as yours. You know, what message do you have for those producers who might be dealing with similar issues but don't have a platform yet to kind of speak on it?
I mean, the bottom line is keep going, man. Believe in yourself. Like, we got so much technology and so much access to things that really you don't need nobody else to validate what it is that you're doing. And of course, we all want placements. We all want to be recognized for what we're doing. But man, just do you, and don't lose your love for the creativity of it. And, you know, pay attention to who's paying attention to you. And I mean, ultimately, if you get opportunities, handle your business. Make sure you look out for yourself. And I mean, other than that, man, just do you. Do you. However that looks to you, do you.
Yeah, man. One more time. You came through with a lot of gems, and I believe we covered the majority of the things. What you said about talking to the team, I had some other questions, but I want to respect that. I'm gonna leave that completely alone. I do appreciate your time, and I do appreciate you being so transparent, because like he said earlier, this stuff is still very, very fresh in terms of the things happening. I mean, you know, it being sent to your text through, you know, the homie Killah Ellis, and you seeing that, there's a collection of emotions, I'm sure, that go through your mind. But you said something I thought that really resonated with me, especially as a DIYer in this community. Like,
DIY.
We are grown men and grown women, and we are not here, you know, to bow down to anybody's celebrity, to bow down to anybody's reputation. There's respect we reserve for the things you've accomplished. That does not give you an opportunity to then walk all over me, right? There's a quote that I've been really, really letting sit in my head that says, when you treat people like a celebrity, they'll treat you like a fan. And I think that you've been handling this on grown man business, and you've been standing on 10 toes. Whatever, Amber Alert, trying to get in the middle of this. You can't stop this conversation.
The devil's a lot.
They trying. See. Oh my goodness. Was there anything that we did not cover? I believe. Oh, there was a random question that came up, and I hope it's not out of pocket to ask about this. Your tag. Somebody got in my comments and was like, "That's not even original tag. That tag is from a Illmind a sample pack."
No, it's not. It's from a rap verse that I did. From shout out to the Parker Brothers. There's a song. If you can find it, you can find it. It's called Squirt Splash. When I was a rapper. So that tag is actually 23-year-old me. And at the beginning of my verse, I say, easy, for real. That's how that tag came. So that's my actual voice.
I hope that person that left that comment is looking me straight in the face. You stupid. You stupid. It's so many people who get on this internet. I'm not even going to ask you why it was called Squirt Splash. It's none of my business. But there's so many people who get on this internet and start talking very, very confidently about stuff that they have no context for. And you know what's crazy, bro? You're a God-fearing man, and so am I. Ain't it amazing how God works, even in this AI environment, that they couldn't even get away with it? Because How many times have you seen videos where a producer pops up and says, that's my beat? Listen, those are my elements. Oh, whatever. They're common chords, they're common keys, but it included your beat tag.
That's what made it crazy.
Ain't got good. Like, I look at that, I'm like,
that's why I said that they might not have knew that music, but they knew that tag.
And it's funny because the person that sent it to me had to tell me again too. They said, did you hear what happened in the first 10 seconds? Because like I said, I was familiar with the beats more so than the actual tag. And I said, wait a minute, is that the same beat tag? He said, absolutely is. The whole tag, this is sloppy. This is a mess. I know that right now AI is moving at a rapid pace. And I know there's things that, you know, most of us will not be able to comprehend that those under the hood are comprehending. However, just know that we see you. We're all eyes. We know when our peers' work are being used, and we will step up to the plate and we will go to bat for the folks that we see doing this and putting their work behind it. Man, we salute you. Anything that these people need to know in terms of how to hear more of your production, or maybe I think you said you had a sample pack that was coming up too, right?
Yeah, I'm working on a Slap Your Mama drum pack 8. Yeah, and I'm gonna double down on this Patreon. So sign up for Patreon if you want to see some of that. And then y'all know I'm always on the gram. I'm always on TikTok dropping videos. And reach out. I got a gang of DMs, and I promise y'all I'm really trying to respond to everybody right now, man. But it's a lot, and I'm just not used to this type of attention. Again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm a true introvert, bro. And sometimes this shit get overwhelming. I start getting anxiety, and I just gotta shut down. But I'm really trying to step up and respond to people because I feel the outpouring of love, and I appreciate it for real.
Man, I do feel like God connected us to have this conversation, because there are people, I'm sure, that couldn't wait to get you in an aha moment or make an example or looking for the headlines. I'm not looking for nothing but the truth. I'm not looking for nothing but this to get amplified, because it presents a real big fundamental issue in the ethics of how this is being handled. And I think it's really interesting that they went after the arts and the creatives first, the graphic designers, the painters, the musicians, the artists. They're going after that first when there's so many things this world needs. We need cures to diseases.
They're like, take your ass back to work.
We need you in the workforce, but then we need you in the workforce for just 6 more months so we can get you up out of here and be replaced by some machines. The logic and whatever's going into it doesn't make any sense. But I think that no matter what, the real will prevail. I think that this will always, I think that AI, somebody, I heard somebody say there's no kill switch for this thing. It is too late. It is much, much too late. You should do that back in 2016, 2015, 2017. There's no kill switch. We're here now, but that can't stop us from having these human to human conversations and amplifying what needs to be amplified. Man, I salute you, and I thank you for taking the time out of your day to be transparent with us. There were a few questions here from the audience. I can pre-screen this. Was one of them actually. You don't got to answer this if you don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to do anything that's going to hinder what you're talking to with your team. But Overlord, who actually posted the video, wants to know, what do you think this means? What do you think of Timbaland's legacy now in this era where a lot of things are, there's a lot of question marks on things right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a ripple effect. I think that this moment specifically kind of amplified what was already going on. So it definitely tarnishes his legacy. But I'm going to speak for myself when I say, like, you can't take away what Tim has done. He's one of the most innovative producers of our generation. And, going back to what I said earlier, 19-year-old me is ecstatic that my music even reached him. You understand what I'm saying? Just as a grown man, this shit is kind of foul. Excuse my language. But I think, we're going to be mad for a little bit, but I think, there's a lot of selective outrage, and we'll probably be talking about something different in a few weeks if he get off the internet and go just do what he's going to do. You know what I mean?
Well, if you reemerge with a moment like this, Banshee Baby said, it's both of ours, face ass. Look what we made.
Well, we're going to leave it at my house.
On my hard drive.
Yeah.
And if it gets lost in the collection again, that's why I'm like, bro, yeah, for sure talk to your team, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, you're not even abiding by the terms of the website that you're an ambassador of.
Right. Well, and that's why I asked, who enforces that? Where do the consequences even come from on that end?
On that end,
as far as terms and conditions is concerned.
When they the same company being sued by major record companies right now for doing the work that they admitted, okay, yeah, we did train our AI on unlicensed music without permission.
Right.
On the open internet, as they wanted to put it. Man, you spoke to a lot of things. What message, if any, do you have for Timbaland or anybody else who is on that side who thinks that folks won't speak up for themselves?
Come talk to me. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? I think at this point it's overwhelming to even be, like I said, I'm not used to this type of attention. So I'm down to have a conversation with them. You know what I mean? And more importantly, man, you guys got a responsibility to look out for the young guys that look up to you guys. Yeah, like there's so much more you could be doing in terms of giving back. And I don't want to get on my soapbox about that, but I mean, just change the game. Like, we know the music industry is messed up, but it don't have to be like that. And when we got leaders, like, it starts with y'all. Y'all got way more influence than a lot of us. So just do the right thing, bro.
Yeah. All in all, do the right thing. There you go. You can. You ain't never lied. DIYers, I thank you once again for being here, but also for sending so much positive energy this brother's way, because he didn't have to come talk to us. If you go to his content, you see this man is about his music damn near 98% of the time. You probably not gonna find a video where he's speaking to you, because he is doing the thing that he has worked so hard and so many years on. I salute you. I'm here for whatever information or whatever, we can be of any kind of help or assistance or to amplify anything. We're here. We're an ally. And man, I just salute you for coming up here today and speaking so honestly and transparently when you're still processing a lot of the stuff that's going on, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. You do what you do so well. And that's why I was honored to even jump on here. And I was just hoping I could pull myself together to get through it. And man, I'm glad that I got a chance to talk to you, man. And you keep doing what you're doing, man, because what you're doing is important to the community for sure.
Man, thank you. Thank you. DIYers, this video will be left up. Thank you to everybody who did the super chatting. I want to say thank you to every single one of you. Gifted subs and all that stuff. Really appreciate you. Definitely go follow him. All his information is there in the description for everything that you need. For those that are listening to the podcast, all the stuff is in the show notes. All of his contact, whatever you need to do, go get yourself some sounds producers or artists. Go get yourself some production from a human being.
Thanks.
Because we still out here. Man, salute to you and salute to everybody else in here. Thank you once again. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.